this South African farmer bullshit, which is the most blatantly obvious racist shit ever. It is blatantly obvious the way that we treat white South Africans, who, by the way, for the most part, and I am generalizing here, from some of the wealthiest people are well-to-do people in the country. They speak their language. They own most of the land and the property. And somehow they're being granted a fast track to become Americans while they're trying to cut down on immigration from other countries. You know, you get that from where? From the brown people. On March 7th, Trump took to Truth Social to announce he is offering white South African farmers, quote, a rapid pathway to U.S. citizenship, pointing out that South Africa's new land reform push signed into law last year, which lets the government take land without compensation if the property is not being used and there's no intention to either develop or make money from it. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you some context here. They're not just taking land away from white South African farmers. White South Africans, about 9% of the population, owned 87% of the fertile land. Okay? Today, black South Africans make up more than 90% of the population, and they only hold about 4% of all privately owned land. So what they're trying to do is say, hey, we need to fix an historical injustice and figure out if you're not using that land to farm, then we need to have some of that land, not taking all of your entire farm. That's not what's happening. And we need to what? There needs to be equity. And now people are crying because the playing field is being leveled. And so therefore it is now discrimination.
I just saw a video that Trump has brought in the white immigrants who are being poorly mistreated in their country. So he wants to save them. You Latinos for Trump, come to the front. Come to the front, you fucking disgraceful pieces of shit, you. What a fucking embarrassment you are to our people, to our culture, to our ancestors, who fought with their freaking lives against this very same regime that you got up, got dressed with your own right and your own free will, and voted for this fucking piece of shit president that's here now. And we all, as a whole, the Hispanic community, get looped in with you all. As, oh, your people voted for him. Because you want to be white aligned so fucking badly. You know that when Christopher Columbus went to put the island of Puerto Rico, I'm talking to Boricuas right now. When he went to the island of Puerto Rico, he found the Taino people to be so warm and welcoming and giving that he went back to Spain and told the king, yo, give me 50 soldiers, I can take over the whole island. These people are giving to a fault. He went over there and captured all the natives, tortured, killed, sold, and raped the women. And you pieces of shit voted for the same type of motherfuckers. I'm so pissed. I can't even stop cursing. There's not even a word to describe what I think about you Latinos for Trump. There's no, because you are disgraceful beyond measure. And to get a pat on the head that you didn't even get. You're nothing more than a whore for a white man. And that's, I'm talking to men and women alike.
Well, you know how the Trump administration has said that there's no room for any more immigrants and that, you know, we need to put a hard line down on illegal immigration? Well, they just let 50 white Afrikaners come here saying that they were subjected to genocide in South Africa. Now, mind you, that no aid groups actually say this is true. That doesn't mean that there's not violence going on in South Africa, because it is a violent place. But the definition of refugee, most are like, nah, not really. And if that were true, then why are we not allowing Afghan refugees in here? Or anybody that's facing oppression at home from dictators? We're not doing that. And when a Trump administration official was asked today why these South Afrikaners could come in but nobody else, he said, because they will assimilate easier. That's just coded language for they're white. Let's be honest here. Look, we all knew that this administration was racist, but it is just wildly insane to see them saying these things out loud and seeing so many of their supporters just backing them up and cheering them on instead of being like, wait a minute, that's not what we signed up for. It's almost as if this wasn't about there's no room, and really it's just keeping brown people out of the country.
All right, rant of the day. the South Afrikaners that are coming in. I think 49 came in the other day. They are part of the little apartheid movement that collapsed in 1994. There's no targeted killing. There's no targeted genocide. South African government has strictly denied it. They are strictly saying, you're going off misinformation. You're going off of information from Elon. You're going off of information that is racist. Like, it's racist. The fact that you are terrorizing people in this country now that have lived here their whole life, that story about that 19-year-old that made a wrong turn, it's truly disgusting. All the while you're trying to end habeas corpus, end due process, all this shit. Fuck this administration. Fuck this racist bullshit. It is unfathomable that they're bringing in fucking white racists now. We are importing racism. We already have enough.
Shame on the United States. Shame. Shame on Donald Trump and his whole administration. So check this out, y'all. White South Africans granted refugee status by the Trump administration. Now let that sink in. Look at these people. These people are the descendants of the colonizers and the apartheid rulers in South Africa. So the government over there is using their constitution to help give land back to the native Africans. They're buying land from South Africans who own 70% of all the land. And you go, how did they do that? They stole it. Then you got Elon Musk and Donald Trump talking about there's a genocide happening. There's no genocide. The only genocides that are happening right now are in Gaza, the Congo, South Sudan. Those are really genocides, and those are really refugees. Then you got Trump, remember, talking about they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, when he's referring to Haitians. That's not happening either, and it wasn't happening. They have real status to be here, to work. But these guys, these Afrikaners, these poor farmers, they just, for whatever reason, can't make money in South Africa. They haven't been on their job. You notice there ain't no millionaires and billionaires Afrikaners coming to the United States as refugees. It's the poors. They got money for wars but can't feed the poor. And I'm talking to you white Americans, especially the ones who are in the lower class of poor. This really affects you. These Afrikaners are about to come over here, get free housing, free medical. They're going to get jobs. They're going to get education. And meanwhile, a lot of you are going to continue to live in rural areas, in your trailers, in your apartments, and you're going to lose your jobs because of Doge. These guys are here to get all the resources. America, that's a shame, y'all. That is a shame.
Seen this? A group of white South Africans just arrived in the U.S. as refugees. Now, they're part of an ethnic group known as the Afrikaners, and they are predominantly descendants of Dutch settlers in South Africa. They're also known for their rule in South Africa during apartheid. And if you don't know, apartheid was an institutionalized form of segregation that was in South Africa for decades. And that meant that oftentimes people who weren't white faced significant discrimination. So anyway, the group that just arrived in the US, they're now claiming that they're facing discrimination and racially based violence in their country. And back in February, President Trump signed an executive order to help them resettle, calling out South Africa for disregarding its citizens. The South African government, however, is completely denying those claims. But now all of this is causing a lot of people to question if the Trump administration is just more so favoring white people, since a lot of refugee admissions from other countries like Afghanistan, Sudan, and even the Congo have been denied. So y'all know why I'm here. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let's chat in the comments.